and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are going to do a little tutorial to make this little lavender flower. Over on my Etsy, at this point, I should have a pattern pack that comes with a pattern for lavender and a pattern for tulips. So you can make quick, little, no-sew, easy flowers for your next market. I chose these flowers in particular because they could be made quickly and easily. I don't mess around with like intricate little like leaves or anything. So it's just to build you up a little bouquet fast and simply. So I'll explain what you need in the next clip of the video. Let's get started. So this is about the quickest tutorial for a flower that you will ever find. It is very simple. You are going to need some floral wire. I'll have it linked below because I don't recall the gauge. You will need some scissors, a 3.5mm crochet hook, a 5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle of some sort, some purple yarn for your lavender flower part, some green yarn for the stem part. This is the purple I'm using, and I'm going to make a bouquet with these three purple colors, which you've seen in the picture at the beginning of the video. And for information's sake, I am using Craft Smart yarn from Michaels, which I think is called like Loops and Threads Value yarn now. I'm not entirely sure. You need a hot glue gun. That's how you affix everything to the floral wire. I have a cordless hot glue gun. It is called, the brand is Sure Bonder, but I'll have it linked below also as well. I love it because it's cordless. I mean, it mounts to the like cord part and that's how it heats up. But you know, when I'm working, I can just like throw it down and it's like super convenient because, you know, it just is. So now we are going to get started. You do a slip knot. Here I'm showing how you do the little slip knot. You will wrap it twice around your finger, take the back loop, pull it over the front loop, hold it down, take the new back loop and pull it over the front loop and off your finger and then pull. And that is how you do a slip knot the like easy way. I still do my slip knots like that. That's just how I learned. So with your 5mm hook, chain 43. So here I am chaining 43. The reason why this video has a voiceover instead of just me telling you is because I hate technology and technology hates me. So I did intend to record this video with audio. It just did not work out that way. So now we are getting voiceover Jackie. So you're just chaining away. Hopefully my talking is not too distracting, but I guess we'll find out by the comments section on this video. I am trying to keep this tutorial in about as like real time as possible, just so you guys can see that these are pretty much relatively quick and super easy to make. So you can see I have like a relatively like straight chain here, and then you switch to your 3mm hook and or 3.5mm hook, I'm sorry. And in the third chain from the hook, you will do 5 double crochets. So in your third chain from the hook, do 5 double crochets. I like to go under 2 loops of my foundation chain because it helps prevent gaps. But you do it however you see fit. The gaps don't matter so much on this because you're going to wrap this like around a stick basically, so you won't really see them. But it's just usually good form to go under 2 loops of your chain, or even just into the back bump if that's like how you want to do it. You'll see as you're making your double crochets, your double crochets are starting to kind of cup. That is what you want. I'm showing you it wraps around my finger here, because that is going to be the part you kind of put over the end of the floral wire, and it's going to give it like a nice clean ending. So from here, the pattern is super simple. You will chain 5 and then slip stitch into the next chain, and then single crochet into the next chain after that. So this is me trying to find my next chain space. I'm showing you not to go into the one you made the half double crochets into. So now I'm in the next chain space, and I'm slip stitching. And now I'm going into the chain space after that. And this is where you will do a single crochet. And then you chain 5 again. And then into the next chain space, you will do a slip stitch. And then into the next chain, you'll do a single crochet. And do it again all the way until you get to the end of the chain. So what you're doing is making those little loops. Those little loops will be like, I mean, I guess the whole thing is a lavender flower, but they'll be like the texture of your lavender flower. So keep on going. My yarn split a little bit right there, but I'm leaving it because like that's just some added texture, so it does not matter that much. So I'm gonna let you guys watch this and then maybe throw up some music in the background. I just do this a couple of times on camera so everyone can see, because I know a lot of us that watch this channel are at like different points in their crochet journey. We do have a lot of newbies here, but we do have a lot of like experienced crocheters. So, you know, you just keep going if you're experienced, and then our newbies can have a little time to get the work done. And I'm sorry I keep going off camera. I'm trying to figure out the best setup for like overhead tutorial situations. And this was definitely a good trial run with it, but considering I don't have any audio and I had to voice over it, it's not really the bestest setup, but we'll get there. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you've done all your little loops all the way down. You should have 20 of those little loops and your double crochet like tip part. But this right here is pretty much your entire lavender flower. Now we just have to put it on the floral wire and give it a stem, and bada bing bada boom, you're done. So I like to do a dab of hot glue at the tip. I guess before we get into that, here I'm just kind of showing you exactly what we're doing. We'll be doing it a little bit tighter, but you're gonna like put the tip on and then just wrap this around there, and then you can kind of see generally what it'll look like. You don't want to do it super tight, but you definitely don't want to do it as loose as I was doing it there when I was just kind of showing you quickly what we're gonna do. So put a little dab of hot glue on the end of your floral wire. take your little double crochet bit and just kind of wrap it over and like around. And then you'll do a little dab of hot glue and some wraps. Your chain will be toward the like bottom of your floral wire, and your loops will be going toward the top. So you want your loops like facing up because that's like the texture of your flower. And you don't want to do your hot glue dab too far away from where you're working, because like the stem is basically like cold metal, so it dries pretty fast. Or I guess hardens is the better word, pretty fast. So you want to do it just kind of like right below where you're working. And you don't need to do like every inch of the stem. Just do, you know, a dab, wrap an inch, a dab, wrap an inch, because that'll be enough to like hold it into place. Okay, we are getting to the end of our little flower here. I am going to also stick my tails a little bit to that last little bit of glue, and don't worry about those right now. We will take care of them later. And at this point, I'm just kind of like fluffing up my flowers a little bit, making sure like everything's kind of for the most part facing up. But there you have it. This is very much kind of like a trust the process thing. You can see it's a little bit like irregularly shaped in spots, but like overall you're not going to notice that when you put it like in a bouquet, so you don't have to really get hung up on making sure everything is like perfect on it, because it just looks fine either way. So we are going to do the stem part. The stem is super easy. It doesn't even involve crocheting. You are just going to take some green yarn and wrap it around the stem and glue it down. So I will show you how to do that in just a second. And also your stem part might look a little long at this point. However, wrap it and then cut it. You don't have to wrap it all the way to the end, just kind of eyeball where you want to wrap it to, but wrap it down to that point and then cut it, and then cut your yarn. I don't like to pre-cut my stems just in case, because sometimes I'll wrap it like a little tighter. The flower part, I'll wrap it a little tighter or a little looser. So I'll have like the need for like a slightly shorter, slightly longer stem. And that again also doesn't matter, because once you put it in a bouquet, those little irregularities are what give it like a slightly more realistic look as far as crochet flowers go. So I'm just getting my green yarn out. My green yarn was just Joann's like budget-friendly acrylic yarn. It was like a good green and I liked it, so I got it there. But any worsted weight yarn will work for this project. So you'll want to glue down your little end there. Be careful, hot glue is hot. So if you do have to touch it like with your fingers to get it down, I have acrylic nails on, so I use those because I can't really feel anything through my nails. If you do have to like touch the glue, just know it's going to be hot, so you might want to have, I don't know, like maybe a metal crochet hook that you can just like peel the glue off of if you get it on there to like kind of smooth it down right there. But yeah, you just glue that down and then get to wrapping. You could see me like rotating my stem, and I have the like green like under my fingers, so as I'm rotating it, I'm just pushing the green right on to the stem, and around and round we go. I'm sorry my hand's over it, but this is like the position like I hold it in, but you'll figure out the best way to wrap. The most important thing with the wrapping is you want to glue down every so often, and you want to like make sure your green is like right up next to like the previous wrap you did. You don't want to like see the floral wire through. So right there you can see I consistently have like you know, a solid surface of green yarn wrapped there. And again, do your best to keep your glue dots pretty close to where you're about to wrap, because once the glue dries a little bit, it's obviously not sticky anymore. So you see right there, I'm doing a little dot like probably only millimeters away from my fingers. And I know your tails of the purple are like probably all over the place right now, but don't worry, we will go back and I'll show you how to how I at least weave in the ends for that. It's super simple. And I guess it's worth noting, you don't need a ton of glue. I literally just like smooth like the thinnest layer on. The more glue you do, like the more you'll run the risk of it like poking out of your like little glued down yarn situation. And it'll either dry like with a slightly cloudy hue and be super noticeable. If you're not lucky, if you are lucky and you have some poke through, it'll at least just be like shiny and clear, but it doesn't look as good, so be sparing with your glue. So I'm just like unwrapping my yarn tails at this point, just to see where my flower ends and to see if I've got like enough stem. I don't think I have quite enough stem, so I am going to wrap a little more, and then we will take inventory again, see where we're at, see if I decide to do any more. But I'm gonna go to about 2 inches left, I would say, of like unwrapped stem, and then cut that off. I didn't show it here because I ended up using my scissors to cut off my stem. They're strong enough that I was able to get through and just kind of bend and break it, but you might need some little like wire snipper things as well. Just depends on like the quality of scissors you have. And here I did this off camera and I did not mean to, but right at the end of your stem, do a dot of glue, like where you cut it, do a dot of glue, and then wrap a little bit of the green yarn just to cover the bottom end of the stem, and then snip it off. So there is the ending. I do have a little glue that I'm going to cut off here in a second, which I'm showing you. But once you cut off that, like everything is all covered on the stem. So there is how my stem looks. It's fine. Now we are going to take our yarn tails. I've said stems too many times. Now we're going to take our yarn tails and tie them together. I like to tie them around on like either side of the stem, so they're basically like tied around it. And I do one tie and then a second one to form a double knot. And I pull it really tight so it lays flat, like you can't really see like a bump on it. And then I'm going to take those yarn tails and then run them up like flush with the stem inside the flower. So when you do this, you're going to want to like take your hand and like hold the purple flowers that you glued down in place and then run your yarn tail up. you want to kind of hold the flowers in place so you don't like rip them off the glue part. But this is how I've been doing it for the flowers, and I've not had any problems, and I've sold some of these flowers at my markets already, so it's done fine. So you see me like having my fist to hold everything in place as I'm kind of working the sewing needle up. And I'm using like a fatter sewing needle because I usually use that one for like plush yarn. I don't do a lot of stuff in worsted weight. I do have smaller ones, but this is the one I had out. So I'm doing my best to get it up in there. I had to pull back a little bit because it was going out more like on top of the flowers instead of like right next to the stem. But I just did it up a little ways. And I'm going to take that tail and cut it. Remember, now you have it tied at the bottom. You had them slightly glued down at the bottom. The whole flower itself is basically glued down to the stem, so you don't have to worry about, like you would for like a blanket or something, weaving these ends back and forth. They're not going to poke out. And then I do the same thing for the other one. If I can thread the needle. Just going in right from the bottom, holding my flowers in place as I run the needle up the stem. And then I'm just going to pull it out right there. And then you just cut that little bad boy off. And then I'm just kind of sorting everything back out again. And ta-da! Your little flower is done. So I can make 3 of these probably in like 35 minutes-ish. Which means I could sell like a little 3-pack bouquet for like 10 to 12 bucks easily. It's a decent profit. They're not time consuming, especially if you like prep a bunch of like the chains for the flowers first and then worry about your assembly after. They go quick once you like assembly line it, and they're super cute. I'm going to throw up a picture right here again of what the final bouquet looks like, since my background for the marble part is like, you know, pretty simple. So in this picture, the flower on the left is the one that I made. I used a darker one for the one in the front, even though like the lighting is different for the picture and for the video. Okay, that is all for this video. I hope you like making your lavender. I am going to make 2 more of these to make a little bouquet for my next market using these other 2 purples. And yeah, if you like more crochet content, you can check out this video right here, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!